a world of uniparty politics, Americans are not seeing that fascism is not bearing to the left or the right, but a corporate endeavor to control policy for self-enrichment and aggrandizement to non-existent issues to socially condition the masses for global influence and control. This is today's New World Order. We the people are not happy with it. This is America Talks.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to America Talks. I'm your host, John Grosner in New Hampshire.
I am doing, I'm just so excited to hear that the Trump administration is finally starting to iron out some of the wrinkles over there with China. Now we might get some real trade going on again, but yeah, I mean that's the Trump administration. But as far as I go, yeah, going good, man. Same old,
Yeah,
same old.
good deal. Fifth month mark, I guess, John. 20th week going.
We hit a milestone. See that?
Yeah,
True
right.
color.
Yeah,
We are 25th guest.
right. It's kind of surprising that we're not blocked or banned on Facebook or nothing for telling the truth on this show. But, it's anyway, 20 weeks, it's gone by pretty quick.
Don't talk about the spicy cough or anything medical. They'll think you're giving out medical advice, even though you might give an opinion or something, but you're not allowed to give your opinions because it might be medical advice. That'll get you banned. And what was the other one? Um, was it the
Jab.
G6? You can't talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We got through that one. Um, and we're on a hot streak here. One day though, we're gonna say something on this show that will probably get us like in Facebook jail or something, but that's okay. We'll
Don't
deal with
do
that when the
that.
time comes.
I finally got YouTube's confidence back. Don't do that. I
uh,
don't
but
expect it to
any,
last.
anyway, this week we have Michelle, the truth teller from Virginia. I'll let her introduce herself and then we'll get into it because there's been a lot going on in Virginia.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm from Stafford County, Virginia, close to Fredericksburg, Virginia, the city. And I am with a lot of different groups.
Yeah, I was wondering. I thought for a second there she froze up. Want to name any of them? People's Movement or
I'm with the People's Movement of Virginia, is one of them I'll name.
how you
Yeah.
like
I
that?
feel like I'm echoing.
Uh-oh. Do you have you don't have earpiece in, do you?
I do.
Oh, you do.
I
Uh-oh.
do.
Now I don't know what's going on. That's my first.
Yeah, yeah. But I think John was asking how you like the people's movement there. I believe is what he was going to ask.
Well, everybody's left, so it's basically just me and a few others that do things around here, and that's about it.
But that's
I
just the Virginia group, or are you talking about the whole?
That's just the Virginia group. Yeah, just the Virginia group. Yeah, everybody I had in my groups moved to red states. They're no longer here.
Did they get all scared and stuff because of the J6 Select Committee and what they were doing to J6ers and said, nope, 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 not going to
Oh
jail with
yeah,
you guys.
oh yeah, yeah. I couldn't drum up a protest if I wanted to. Nobody showed up. It was just me and my flag. I was all by myself most of the time. I had a couple people show up, but you
Sometimes
know,
that's how it goes. Sometimes you're just a sole trooper out there all on your own, waving your flag
very
in your
true.
time, one in each hand, and hoping that you can get a little bit of notice.
Exactly,
Yep,
exactly.
yep.
That's all you can do. So I've been going to local things and local board meetings and local school board meetings, and I go to another county's school board meetings because that's just a clown show, and I like to watch it.
I like to watch them, huh?
Oh yeah,
Do you get to interact much, at least in your own school board meetings?
yes, yes. Actually, there's a lot of people that come that I talk to there. I'm friends with a lot of them on Facebook, and then the other county I go to, there's several people there that because that's more of a redder county, so there's several people there that I talk to. But we, basically, we just go for the comedian of it all.
The comedic effect.
Yes, it's crazy. It is truly a clown show. Spotsylvania County, it's been on national television more times than I can count on both my hands for different things and such. One of the board members was going to burn some books. He said it, you know, he said it, the words, not meaning, he was actually physically going to throw books in a dumpster and burn them. Uh, but they took them literally, and that just rocketed it from local to uh, local news stations, and then it went on to Fox and CNN and everywhere. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So,
they've been on the radar ever since. Every little thing they do, they make it in the news for it. It's great.
so I've seen Virginia on Fox News and on the news quite a bit. What you got going on over there anyway?
Well, we are getting ready to build a nuclear fusion center, which is going to be the first in the country. I mean, the whole world. And it'll be here in Virginia in Chesterfield County.
But isn't that what splitting atoms is nuclear fusion?
Yes. And
Yeah,
it's going to be done here. And they said it's not going to take any water, so it won't be needing any water to feed it.
this is interesting.
Which
Yeah.
is interesting. I haven't read much into it, but yeah, it'll be here by 2030. They said they're going to start working on it here soon.
Are you concerned this will be America's first Chernobyl?
No, because there won't be any reactors there. So,
Huh.
no, we live 20 minutes from a nuclear reactor. Lake Anna, Virginia, there's 2 nuclear reactors there, actually. They want to put a third. They're talking about putting a third one there. I don't worry about that either because I go to the lake every weekend and put my boat in and go swimming in it. So, got to die of something, right?
Well, yeah, it's definitely going to happen one day. Not looking forward to it, or not any big hurry. It's not like it's a race, but yeah,
Yeah,
one day.
Well, if you let everything scare you out of doing something that you enjoy, then you're never going to enjoy anything in life, right?
that's true. That's true. We have a Republican governor, and then everything else is, basically. I mean, we have a Republican uh, attorney, Virginia attorney, but everything else is Democrat. Everything. I mean, we don't control the Senate. We don't control the House. We can't get any bills passed.
Hmm.
Well, the politics in Virginia is controlled by a handful of
The,
cities in the north and the south. Like you have Virginia Beach and Norfolk, and then up north you have Fairfax, Alexandria, and a few more that they just build house on top of house and apartments and condos up to the sky and put all the people in it that they could possibly put in it to vote. And for some reason cities are predominantly blue for some reason. I haven't figured out why yet, but they are. And they have the majority of the vote. Like for example, we have uh, 269 square miles here in my county of Stafford. Alexandria has 15.4 square miles. They had 80,062 people vote in the last election, and we had 78,947.
yeah,
think
bigger
the answer.
cities. Go ahead, John.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think the answer to your question is commonly when people group up in large sums in large cities and stuff like that, they'd start requiring on government for social programs and things like that. And eventually they develop dependency, and as they do, they turn more blue because of that. That's why we have the oh god, I can almost think of it there. The electoral college is to
Mm-hmm.
prevent the United States from being overrun by cities that are large cities and dominate, and so that you have fairness. Because more conservative rural areas will be subject to their stupid rules and everything that would impact them, but they at the same time it would hurt them. So
Right.
we have the electoral college to keep things kind of fair and balanced and prevent that from. Well, you understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And of
and
course, our electoral college went toward the blue. So
yeah, well, I mean, just about every state, every big city goes blue. You know, just pretty much for the reason John just stated. Um, there's only one state that I know of that nothing ever goes blue. It's always solid red, not even a little tiny blue speck anywhere. Um,
Utah.
well, not, it's actually Oklahoma. Uh,
Oh, okay.
yeah, Oklahoma is a solid, complete red state. I mean, you never even see one speck of blue anywhere on an Oklahoma map when it comes down to election time.
I'd love to move there.
And
I'm a storm chaser. I'd love to move there, but I just too many
yeah,
tornadoes for me.
I think
yeah,
that's where I ran into my first one that I actually realized I was within range of a tornado was Oklahoma.
yeah. If you like chasing tornadoes, get a hold of Ryan Hall. Uh, Hook up with
Oh
him.
yeah, watching.
Yeah, I love Ryan. And I'm not being biased just because he's from Kentucky, not too far from where I live. But I mean, he's good.
He's a great guy. I mean, all the work they do, and they go boots on the ground when these storms are over, and they donate stuff, and he calls out the tornadoes before the National Weather Service even puts a warning out. He's all over it.
a long,
So yeah,
a long time
they're
before
saving
actually.
lives. That's bottom line. They're saving
Yeah.
lives.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's but yeah, your governor there does he term out this
He
time
does.
or is he running
He does.
again?
He terms out. We have Winsome Sears, who is the Republican, who is now the lieutenant governor. She's going to be running for governor. And then we have the Democrat, Abigail Spanberger, and she believes in abortion and she believes in mutilating our children. Uh, and basically, that's the only two span, SPAN. But yeah, we can say spam, that'll work. But yeah, we have them two running, and then we have the lieutenant governor who just came into the mix probably, I don't know, about 4 weeks ago. He won his bid, and then some scandal happened, and yeah, it's been a mess. So the scandal, and apparently somebody made up a Facebook page of John Reed. He's gay. He's always been gay. Everybody that knows him knows he's gay. He's a conservative Republican. Who cares? Well, apparently Youngkin and them care. So somebody made a fake Facebook page and put all kinds of naughties on there and said that they were John Reed. Well, before anybody looked into it, John Reed's getting a phone call telling him he needs to step down and not run because of this fake Facebook page. And now neither one of them will back him. It's up to John whether he wants to run. So they're splitting the party, and we're just going to go blue. And I just feel like I have no help for anybody here anymore because just everything just turns stupid constantly. It's just I don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I can say is hang in there. Don't give it up.
And they can't do anything behind closed doors. Talk about it behind closed doors. Why does everything have to be out in the open? Yeah.
They do that. They want the security of speaking freely and don't want to have to fall for it. They don't want to throw themselves on their own sword.
Well,
So
I
they
know,
want
but these
to
are all
push.
fellow Republicans, so work together, please.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Now in 2020, didn't they kind of gerrymander Virginia to so Biden could win the election? Wasn't it 2020 they were gerrymandering?
Yes, they were at different locations. Spotsylvania was one of them. The gentleman would not, the person who certifies, I don't know the name of the person, but the person who certifies the election refused to certify the election. And then it went above his head, and then eventually whoever that was certified the election. And that was here locally. But yeah, and there's plenty of people that were supposedly busted for it, but nothing ever happened.
Uh huh.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's funny how nothing ever happens because it benefits the
Yes.
winning team, and the winning team is the ones that have authority and in control.
Yep.
So Papa Patriot says he did not trust Youngkin. He played his part well.
He did. He did. I no longer have any faith in him either, and I don't have any faith in any of them right now because they're all at each other's throats, and they're just going to split the party, and everybody's going to vote for Spamberger because she's kind of in the middle on everything except for those two items.
Well, is that how Virginia kind of rolls? I mean, if I look at Youngkin and I look at his what he supported, what he didn't support, and stuff, it seems to me like he's in the middle of the road. Do you think he was more of a moderate than he was an actual conservative?
Yes, I think he was more of a moderate. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
So she's doing
and
the
he's
same thing. She's trying to play both sides.
yes, yes, and she can because she served her country. She worked for the CIA for years. She was a detective. She worked undercover. She's and then she's been a senator for years. Um, well, no, she hadn't been a senator for years. She was a congresswoman for years before. Senate, she's only been in the Senate, I think, 3 years. I think so. But yeah, and everybody knows her, and she's out and about and doing her thing. And Winsome Sears is great. I love her. She's a good person. But like I said, she was asked if she was for John Reed, and she basically talked around it and never said she was. So it's just we're getting more and more bad publicity than we are good publicity as far as the election goes.
So Papa Patriot says go to Second Amendment Day at the Capitol in Richmond, and there are patriots. There were thousands of us. Do they have a Second Amendment Day every year, or
They do.
when is that?
I believe it's already been. It was in February 10th, I believe, was Lobby Day.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to tell
Hmm.
me July 4th.
No,
Yeah,
no,
that's what I
no.
thought.
Yeah, it was Lobby Day. I think it's either January or February of this year. I think it's already passed, I believe.
Hmm. And
But yeah,
that's
we turn out great for that.
but that's a good way too to grow your group. As far as the people's movement goes.
Yes,
Talk to the organizers of these events, all these rallies. That you agree with, and go at and see if you can speak at it. On behalf of the People's Movement, Virginia,
right.
and
And
let
I
you.
would love to, but the problem is like Lobby Day is on a Monday, and I run my own company, and I can't. Monday through Friday, I'm grinding.
So, I don't think Papa Patriot's very big fan of Sears. Uh, what did he say? Look at a campaign sign. It's Biden. Um, yeah. Second Amendment Day is Lobby Day. It was January 20th this year, and that was also the same day that the president was inaugurated.
Correct, correct.
Hmm.
And I had a bus to go to the inauguration.
Probably drew a lot more people too.
And
I had a bus to go to the inauguration, and then they canceled the inauguration, which in turn canceled my bus. So,
oh yeah, they had to move it indoors.
yep, yep,
Yeah, they said it because of the cold weather, but I think a lot of people are afraid of the attacks on Trump. that might have been a day for it. So
Yeah, and I don't blame them. It was cold.
Yeah.
We had a few people that were going to go on the bus that ended up going up there, and just because they wanted to be around all the people, and they went up there and they said they froze their tuchuses off.
Now, how far are you from DC?
I am at about 45 minutes from DC and 45 minutes from Richmond. I'm like smack dab in between both cities.
What town did you say you was in?
I'm in Stafford County, but I'm closer to the city of Fredericksburg. I'm a mile from the city of Fredericksburg.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Every October, and maybe you can even go up and join in with it. The first week of October, they have the 10-4 on DC rally on the National Mall in DC as well. They meet up in Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
They're at the fairgrounds, and they convoy up. It's a good event. If you've never been, it's a good event. That's actually where I met John in person. I talked to John on the phone and things like that, but I think that was the first place I met John in person. Is there on the National Mall?
I'm not.
Oh, at the 10-4 event?
I think you met me in Massachusetts. Weren't you delivering down there? I drove down to meet you.
Oh, yep.
And then
Was that before I seen
I
you?
think it was that.
Okay.
That was the first time we met in person. Then, yeah, I did meet you at did see you again at DC or 10-4 on DC. 2020, I believe, if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken. Was it? No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, 20.
Yeah.
It had to be 21.
Maybe.
When was it?
I can't remember, but
It
yeah.
was a reason that because it wasn't a heavy turnout that year because something happened early. Was it May Day? The May Day event happened that year.
Yeah. So that would have been 20.
It was 2020. Yes.
Yeah,
It
May
was.
Day was 2020. Um,
Okay, I was at 10-4 that night when everything went down here in Fredericksburg.
Oh yeah, they go to Fredericksburg. They go to meet in Fredericksburg. Then they move to the National Mall for a day or two. Then they move back to Fredericksburg to complete their event.
And a
Yep.
bunch of protesters from DC came down to Fredericksburg and protested at the gates. It was hilarious.
Really?
Against 10-4?
Yes.
Holy crap! They what? They don't like truck drivers? What's going on?
No, they didn't like the people that were involved because they were with the convoy.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a bunch of pettiness goes on around here.
it's funny because the Liberal Party is supposed to be about freedom. That's what liberal is, right? Is absolute
yeah.
freedom.
Right.
And the Conservative Party is also about freedom, but also in regard to protections. In certain regard, like antitrust laws. Conservatives were to create those so that smaller entities and stuff like that were overtaken by corporate entities and to kind of like balance things. Sort of like with
Right.
the electoral colleges. And but liberals, they just open the floodgates. And damn the consequences. That's their attitude. Like you have, I say this all the time, but you have personal income tax thanks to liberals because McKinley, as president, had really strengthened tariffs and made this country very, very wealthy off tariffs as far as taxation goes. We didn't have personal income tax until 1913. The liberals wanted to reduce tariffs, anti-tariffs. They believe in free trade, right? But here again, damn the consequences. Let's reduce tariffs next to nothing. So to make up the difference, we'll create personal income tax. So you can thank the liberals for that.
Right. Right. And that's another thing that's running everybody out of here is the income tax keeps going up. You have they filled up Northern Virginia and we're the next county. I live in the next county down from all that mess up there. And so they've been moving down here slowly for the past 10 years, but the progression's gotten really fast in the past 5. They're building up subdivisions, they're building apartment complexes, they're building condos, they're starting to do everything Northern Virginia's doing, and they're greedy, and we thought we were electing good people, and then they got in and they got bought by the lobbyists and the bureaucrats.
Yeah.
And how do you fix that? Because we really thought we had a good person. We were friends a lot of us were friends. We thought we had a good person, and going into the house, and she's just been a hot mess.
The problem is they know how to play the system of things, right? We tend to, as people, we tend to forget. And so when they screw us over, we always forget when it comes election time all the things they did to us because they're talking nice now. They're talking in our favor, and people buy it hook, line, and sinker every time. But truth of the
Hmm.
matter is, corruption starts with the party. Party corruption happens within the party, and no party is an exception to this.
Yeah,
Corruption starts with the party and it ends with the party.
well, I
And
guess she
until
got sucked
the
in quick because she
party,
was not a politician, not a politician at all.
when she went in,
Yeah,
yeah, but who did she meet? So okay, let's say if you were running for office, let's say you're going to be a U.S. Congresswoman, and you had a whole bunch of people at home behind you, and you looked at these people and says, "I want to work for you, but you got to work with me." So let's create these committees. You're a nurse and you're a doctor. Let's create this medical committee over here. You're truck drivers. Let's create this transportation committee over here. And you guys feed me information. You tell me what I need to know. So when I'm voting for you. And you don't have that. What you have are people going into office, all their constituents are left behind and disconnected, and the only people supporting them now is the party. And that's what she does. She gets in there, and the only people she's being fed information from is the party. Well, they're swaying her, they're manipulating her. They're basically, it's like a businessman once said. He says, the way to be successful in business and grow a business is you've got to duplicate yourself. You got to clone
Hmm.
yourself. You got to find people that can see your vision, appreciate your agenda, and take it on as their own, and do for you in your place. So when they're working for you, they're working as if they were you. And this is what the party does. They duplicate themselves for the agenda that they
right.
created. You and I were never invited to it. I don't
Yep.
remember being invited to any planning party for the agenda. Do you?
Let me.
No.
Well, I mean,
I'm
that's
not
like
even
50 years,
invited to any of these polls. All
right?
these polls that are coming. I think these polls are fake because I never get invited to any of them.
Yeah. Well, Papa Patriot was talking about with the machines. They got algorithms. So all you got to do is put in the numbers you want the outcome to be, and the machine will create the algorithm so they get the vote count that they want.
Yep.
You just got to fill in the blanks with the ballots. So this
Yeah,
is
Yep.
why they got, you know, the ballots that people voted with that go over here, and the ballots that bring it in for recount that go over here in place of them. I mean, it's not rocket science.
I
No.
trust my county 100%. My county is 100% above board when it comes to election. I mean, they have their checks and balances, and they do them, and they're religious about them. And my aunt is one of them.
Well, if you got a good group of people that are working, honest people like yourself, right? You got people like you that are in there that care. You have
Right.
integrity, then it's going to work. Here you are. We're talking about cutting out the corruption because people that care got involved.
Yeah.
They'd rather get involved and fix the problem than sit back and drink beers and watch The Simpsons every day. You know, they don't want to waste their time.
Hmm.
They're
And
gonna, on
that's what I
television and
want.
nonsense.
Yep.
They're gonna put their time to good use, and that's how you fix things. So it's good to hear
Yeah.
this is happening because I've heard a lot of people that ran for office, and they know they've been railroaded.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, but I
We,
have no qualms with my county. Now, Spotsylvania, on the other hand, they they have a little bit of a mess there. And they were begging us last election, people from Stafford, to come out there and work their uh, voting booths because they didn't have enough people that they trusted.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like,
So you're
sorry,
saying
we're working our own.
so you're saying Amanda Chase was never corrupted? Is that what you were saying earlier?
Oh yeah, Amanda Chase has never been corrupted. I don't think. No.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Papa Patriot's agreeing with you. He said she was good.
Yeah.
See, that's good to hear. And occasionally you do hear that.
yeah, I mean, every once in
But
a while, they go in and keep the same intentions as what they run and campaign on, but majority of the people they get corrupt because they're going into corruption. They go in with good intentions, but give them a couple of years, and then that corruption that's in there kind of overwhelms them, and they're like, "Well, I can't do this without them," and then they go to the corruption side. You get a few that don't do that and actually do what they say they're going to do. It's like here in Kentucky. 50 years ago, everybody here thought, well, Mitch McConnell's going to be great. Look at him. you know, uh, and he's been corrupt and brought along with him for quite some time. But he kept getting in there, kept getting in there. Thank goodness he's not running again. And we can get somebody to replace him that, hopefully will be like a Rand Paul, get up there and not be corrupt and keep doing the right thing. But you don't get a lot of those.
You
Right,
did get
right.
constituents behind you, man. So Papa Patriot says, that's right, fix the problem. Scott Presley is going to New Jersey. What a shame. Papa Patriot, you live in Virginia. Got Scott Presley's a really nice guy. He's a pretty cool dude, man. Reach out to him and ask him to teach you his methods, what he does, how he does it. Get involved. Get a group of
Hmm.
people with you and get involved. And here again, duplicate what he does.
I
Yeah.
wholeheartedly believe that all the aboves believe Virginia is not a state that's winnable because nobody comes here. I mean, Trump doesn't even come here. When he was running for election, he didn't come here.
So you feel like it's a neglected state?
Oh, absolutely. By the higher ups, absolutely. They
What do
need
you
to
think
come
that
here
is?
because they know it's a blue state and it's not going to change.
But they go to California.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a reason. What's your electoral count?
What do you mean electoral count?
So
Like,
New Hampshire has 4 electorates. So New
oh,
I
we
Hampshire,
have
mean,
11.
once
We have
once
11.
see, and that might be an issue too. See, you're not a swing state. You probably because you don't have a high count of electorates. New Hampshire, we're very positive in the election for the primary. Everybody comes here because we're first in the primary. Once the primary is over, we're like you. Nobody ever comes back. We're not seen as useful anymore because we only have 4 electorates.
Because I'm like
Or we may
begging
have 11.
Scott to come because Scott's been here to Fredericksburg. He spoke at an event and I spent a lot of time talking to him and I'm like, what can we do? And he was like, you just have to work at it. I'm like, we need you. We need you.
Okay. Papa Patriot, once again, you say you're not in Virginia or Fort Worth. Gotcha. Way you were talking earlier, I thought you were from. Well, you said you were from Virginia, I guess. But Fort Worth is a blue area, man. That section is
hmm
blue. Dallas Fort Worth is blue, man. They need people like you to step up, people like you to work the street corners there. And Papa Patriot says Virginia's not blue. But you're in Fort Worth, bro. Come on, step up.
yeah,
You got
Virginia's
yeah.
been
Take
blue for
all the time to
years.
step up.
Just because we have a Republican governor doesn't mean we're red.
So we in New Hampshire, we always have this problem. Tell me if you're like this, because we have what we're very red locally. As far as our state representatives, our state senate, and even our governor. Now we got a trifecta. Yet on the federal level, everybody votes blue. Do you have that problem in Virginia?
What we have is we have the big cities and they're full of the blue and that's who takes us out. You can look if you look up Virginia as an electorate and see our state, it's all red, but a couple of blue dots here and there. I,
Okay, so you're primarily a red.
pull up a picture and look at it. It'll amaze you.
Oh, I know who you are now, Papa Page. I know who you are. I
Yeah,
wasn't okay.
it'll
You can
amaze
keep
you.
going.
It's just like, like I said, we have
it's
the handful of cities up in Northern Virginia and the couple down in Southern Virginia that just, you know, take out all of our votes.
I'm sorry. I'm looking up this
Oh, you're fine.
this map here.
Yeah, I want you to
I'm
see that map. It's amazing.
I'm kind of wanting to see the difference between 2020, 2024, and maybe even 2016, and just kind of see if um, there's a difference, if it's kind of coming red or if it's going more blue or um,
I think
things
the
like.
only reason why we have a red governor is because of the school thing and the books and people wanting their kids back in school and during COVID and all that stuff. That's the only reason why he got elected was because of that.
So what I'm seeing here in 2020, Biden won 54-44. Literally though, uh, less than 500,000 votes. I'm not sure. Let's see if we can find the 2024 election.
So you're pretty much split down the center when it comes to.
Looks like it.
You had 4 years of Democratic trifecta, 4 years of Republican trifecta. Sorry, man. I know you're talking about something else, but I was just going back
So,
to this.
so it looks like the east part of the state is what pulls the Democrats through. Looks like majority of the western part and even central. I mean, there's some blue in the central, but I think from the central to the west is a lot red. I mean, it's
Yeah,
majority
I mean the
red.
whole state's majority red, except for that little blip of blue up top at the top of the state. And it's amazing if you're looking at it as map wise, is like how can that little bit take out the rest of the state? And it's because they have so many people there.
So Suffolk is a big blue. It went Biden 57-40.
Yep, Suffolk, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Richmond, Chesterfield. If you
You
get
know,
up to the central part of the state.
Virginia Beach wasn't as bad. It was 51-46.
No, not this year. Not this year. I think they kind of wisened up because they're getting a little tired of the crap down there, I believe.
Yeah.
All right, I was going to say Papa Patriot. Virginia has continued voting for Democrats' presidential nominees, as well as increasingly electing Democrats at the state level, leading to its being reclassified as a blue state in recent years. But Papa Patriot's argument is they're using the machines and they're cheating it that way.
Yeah.
It's very possible. I
So
wish we'd go back to hand counting ballots.
I'm
I
I'm
think that
sitting
should be
here.
a law.
I'm sitting here just looking at the 2020 election. Right, Virginia could very well be flipped.
We
I
thought it was
mean,
going to be this year.
Yeah,
because
we
if you
really thought we had it this year. We thought we
yeah,
did.
the biggest place that's going to be hard to flip, but could gain ground to help flip the state red is going to be Fairfax. Um, Biden, Biden 69-28.
I think her laughter tells me she says that's impossible.
It,
Yeah, that's
I'm not saying flip Fairfax. I'm saying close. You know, let's close up that gap a little bit. I'm not saying Fairfax can be flipped, but if we can close that gap, let's say if Trump would have pulled out, you know, 185,000 votes out of Fairfax compared to 168, that would have closed the gap quite a bit and probably carried on over to like Virginia Beach, you know, to, that momentum. And really, in all honesty, that's the biggest place for the the left to, that's their stronghold right there, Fairfax.
and and we're going to lose a lot of those people. Thank God. Now that they've been doged, and they're going to go away. So they're going to move to places where they can get a job, and hopefully that's not in the state of Virginia.
But
Yeah,
it looks like
that's an issue.
3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like 6 precincts or 6 counties or whatever there in Virginia flipped from blue to red uh, in 2020 as
Mhm.
compared to 2026. So, I mean, it's definitely doable. It may take a lot of work, but it's definitely doable.
I would like to get there, but I don't see it happening with Fairfax. I think we need to try to find that somewhere else.
I think if
I,
you're catching on to what Papa Patriot's laying down in Virginia is that he's saying that you're predominantly a red state. And the problem is you're lacking election integrity. So your path to success and turning Virginia around would be attacking the issues on election integrity. Do you think that's a possibility that you can get enough people involved for groups of people regarding election integrity?
it depends on how this election goes in November. I won't be able to get them right now because everybody, is scrambling, voting for this one, voting for that one, doing door knocking and phone banking and everything else, trying to get the next governor elected. And
Yeah. No, I'm talking about in general. I mean, you need monitors, people. So one of the things Trump campaign did is they reached out a lot for volunteers for monitoring. So you get poll watchers and things like that. If they weren't
Mm-hmm.
poll watchers, what's even always better than a poll watcher is a poll worker. A poll watcher can only complain about what they see, but a poll worker is on
Mm-hmm.
the inside. They know people, they know the connections, and when they see something going wrong, they can say, "Hey, I'm documenting this. This isn't right."
Yeah.
So that's what we're kind of getting at. If you can get people involved with election integrity and get people if they don't want to be a poll worker or a poll watcher and inundate the polls so that you can monitor what's going on. And when you see things, I mean, we got cell phones, we got ways to document wrongdoings when people are marking on ballots when they shouldn't be, or if you think they're ballot stuff, and there's ways to document this stuff.
that's a
You
good
got to
idea.
write the
That's a
times
good idea.
down and the activity down, take down names, and that way, at least you're building a case.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right. I just think we have a bunch of lazy people here. I
Well,
really
it's
do.
very it is very hard to get people involved. I mean, look, if you got a paycheck for people, they're right on in it, And this is
Right.
the thing about organizations. If you ask for an all volunteer organization, it's hard to get productivity out of people. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
paying people and building an organization, say somebody like Elon Musk, that has the disposable income to do it, then I mean, you get workers, you get stuff done. Some organizations look for interns if you got the business savvy to be able to bring in interns that need the credits for college and things like that. But when it comes to elections, it's like a whole different ball of wax, right? You're basically looking for volunteers. But I think right now, though, talk about striking the iron when the iron is hot. People are really more involved today. People become more educated. People become more aware, and people are kind of feeling a little bit angry today. This isn't the 1950s when you didn't have technology and everybody's relying on their information from what we commonly call a boob tube for a
Right.
reason, or a newspaper that was politically swaying their opinions. Um, so I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we have an open media platforms out here where we are talking like what we're doing now. We're having open discussions and we're putting our truths out there. And
Right.
I think people are finding they're in agreement with each other. They're finding that, yeah, we don't trust the government anymore. We don't trust what's happening anymore. We don't trust our elections anymore. Um, the assassination of John F. Kennedy was an inside job as far as most of us are concerned, right? After years and years and years of hearing about this, we come to realize that wasn't from Cuba, that wasn't from the mafia, something else was going
Mm-hmm.
on.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's and the problem with getting like the workers, things like that is, you know, used to be back in the day was off work. Uh, so today's day and time, can't get off. They don't close down. You know, you have to take a personal day or a vacation day to be off or something. And is it really worth what you get paid to work the polls to miss a day's work?
Well, they were
Yeah,
offering 250 a person up in Northern Virginia for people to work the polls.
and that's better than here. Uh, I think here it's like 80 or $100. Is what they pay the workers at the polls. It's crazy. Jury duty almost pays as much as daggone election polls. Uh, you know, it's you know, I think that kind of has an impact as to getting honest, true workers to work the polls is the pay. I'd much rather have a blue collar worker being working the polls than somebody that really don't need any kind of money, but somebody that's actually going to go in and do what they're supposed to do. And I think a lot of that is it just don't happen. They don't care. They're just there to have something to do for a day and to make a little bit of money, and they really don't care what happens. And I think
Well,
we're getting
here
a
in
lot of that.
Stafford, they kind of keep it even. They have a Republican to a Democrat, a Republican to a Democrat. That way they can all watch each other. It's pretty fair here in Stafford. I really trust Stafford. It's the counties that surround me that I don't trust.
Yeah, a lot of people like that, the balance of both sides. Um, DC Joe,
But I
you know,
kind of
go ahead.
you was
No, no,
talking
what
to
you're
DC
saying is
Joe.
probably relevant. No, no, go ahead and say what you're saying because it's probably relative to the point of topic right now.
No, I have a hard time trusting a Republican and a Democrat and things in certain districts in precincts because the big city, like we were talking, is predominantly blue city, and you're on the right. Are you truly on the right, are you a left leaning Republican working the polls? And I mean, it's kind of hard to even trust Republican, one Democrat ratio because of that reason. I mean, it's just hard for
Yeah,
me to
yeah,
even.
yeah, you have a very valid point.
I mean, I can be like, oh, heck, it's not going to hurt nothing if I go from Democrat to a Republican or a Republican to Democrat this election, but I want to do it just so I can get the job, as this party, but you're actually the other party. I don't know, maybe it's conspiracy theory, maybe you call it that, but I mean,
No,
it's,
no. Listen, New Hampshire had a chairperson for the GOP. I forgot how long, and I can't. I always forget her name. I cannot think of her name right now. She was the chairperson for the GOP for quite some time, who not too long ago just registered as a Democrat. Basically, her true colors came out. They will infiltrate.
mhm. Yeah,
And this
yeah. So I
Oh,
mean,
call them rhinos, right?
I can't remember her name either. Yep, Republican in name only, Rhino. I can't remember her name.
You know who I'm talking about? Like
I do.
Virginia
I
something, I think.
Mitch McConnell.
No, it was Virginia Rhaes, I think. Is that how you spell it?
Uh,
I'll probably get it here in a second.
Reyes?
That doesn't sound right to me.
yeah,
But
I'm not sure.
DC Joe would like to get hold of you and talk to you because he does apparently election integrity work in Texas,
Okay.
and you should be able to contact him through Caroline or Carolyn Miller
Hmm.
Okay, Carol. Okay.
or Smith. I'm sorry, Carolyn Smith.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. I knew who you were talking about.
Yeah. Well, I always think I remember it's Carolyn Miller before she got. I knew
yeah.
her married.
I
So
think DC Joe's doing a lot for election integrity down there. So yeah, he'd be a good one to get a hold of and talk to about that for sure.
You said he's in Texas?
yeah, he's around
Okay.
in Fort Worth.
Yeah, um, yeah. We had him on the show a few weeks ago. But yeah, it's we gotta have election integrity all over the country. But until we come up
Absolutely.
with that fix, it's going to be hard to get. Just for that simple reason, like I said, left leaning Republicans working the poll, or right leaning Democrats working the polls, or somebody to just completely switch just on purpose to get that extra Democrat or Republican in there by switching parties, and it's just I don't know. Like I said, some people may call it a conspiracy theory, but I mean, I just that's the way I think about it.
I mean, it's not a conspiracy theory at all. We had the same thing happen here for our board of supervisors. You know, I knew he was left. I've seen him at leftist functions, and everybody's like, no, he's for us. Vote for him. Vote for him. And guess what? He just voted for us to have our taxes raised once again. He voted with the left.
Jennifer Horn. That's who I was trying to think of.
Jennifer Horn. I
Yeah.
heard it. That came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago, didn't it, John?
Oh no, that was months ago. I'm part of a Facebook group called New Hampshire. Darn it. I can almost think of the name of it now. uh, well, I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, they Therese there. She runs that. She started that group, and she brought that out when it happened.
I
When they
heard
found
something similar to that like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And maybe they were just talking about the same case. Heck, maybe it was you. I don't know. I'm forgetful like that.
could have been.
But
Yeah, because
I
the Jennifer
remember.
doesn't ring a bell to me. Virginia. I was in agreement with you with the Virginia name. I thought her first name was Virginia.
I thought so
What I was
too.
thinking
So I
about.
looked up the list here. I looked up the past list for GOP chair and stuff like that, and her name came up. I go, oh, that was it.
Okay.
Jennifer Horn. I don't see a Virginia in here, but my mind keeps wanting to go to Virginia. I don't know why.
Yeah, she did something bad lately because I remember the name myself.
Probably.
Yeah.
If you're a liberal, they're a liberal. I mean,
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
yeah, that's what I was starting to say earlier. Was liberals are supposed to be about all freedoms, and today liberals are not about freedoms. They're socialist liberals, and it's kind of a contradiction in terms, isn't it? You want to be a socialist liberal, which means you want social programs, you want social contracts, but yet you claim you want freedoms too, and they don't coexist together.
Yeah, they don't go hand in hand. Sorry,
No,
that's not the way this works.
Yep. But I mean that's like Bernie Sanders, right? He's an independent, but he's actually a socialist Democrat.
Correct.
Uh, is pretty much what he is, along with that party. Why he's no, I guess just try to throw people for a loop. But see what Bernie Sanders is. Well, you might need to go to the eye doctor and get a little bit stronger prescription because that's simple.
I mean, he used to be able to identify as an independent, but now it's he's definitely a
Right.
Democrat, and just like the rest of them, he's far left, like the rest of them are.
well, that's the
Oh.
funny thing is there is a socialist party, and there was always a Democrat party, which was way more conservative than what it is today. And it
Mm-hmm.
seems as if the socialist party wasn't gaining any ground, so we'll just jump in and become Democrats and alter the party.
Right, right,
Yep.
and they've done a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for
They have
sure.
done a good job.
That is for sure. It's but with him and AOC out there doing what they're doing, it's just it's crazy. I mean, he might as well sit there with his little mittens on, with his legs crossed, in that little metal folding chair, and just sit there like everybody remembers him. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, it's so we're coming up on an hour, pretty close to it. I don't know. I can't see the time for some reason, right? Um, but yeah, we're anything else that you would like to get out real quick in Virginia there, Michelle, or
Tom Homan is doing a great job. He's arrested over 500 illegals. Crime is coming down. And I'm happy with that. Nobody's going to stop Tom Homan. He's the shit. Oh, I mean, sorry.
It happened. I did that on terrestrial radio one day. My fellow host, he says, "Our shirt." I go, "Thank you."
Yep, yep.
That's what I
That's what
meant.
I said. Sure. Yep.
yeah, but Yeah, no, Trump's cabinet all the way around is doing a great job. Uh, I mean, there might be a couple little mistakes there that I've caught, with some parts of the cabinet, but it's all in all, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're doing what Trump put them in there to do, and
They're doing what we voted for them to do.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So I have no complaints with that for sure. Um, so yeah, it's but if you're watching this, definitely if you're interested in the people's movement, you can go on Facebook and just simply type in the people's movement with a hyphen and then your state. For instance, the people's movement hyphen Kansas, people's movement hyphen Virginia, whatever, on Facebook, and it will pop up. Go over and join. It costs nothing. The only thing it costs is stand up and fight.
Yep.
Um,
It's free
that's
to
that's
join.
that's what it costs. So if you're not scared of the government, you don't care to stand up against the government, you don't care to fight against the government, it's a great place for you for sure. Um, but we'll stand up for the government if they're right about stuff too. It's not only being against the government. If the government's doing wrong, then yes, we're going to be against them. But if they're doing the right thing, what they're supposed to be doing, what the people put them into office to do, then we're going to stand behind them on that part. It's not only just to put down
100%.
the government. So,
Yep,
um,
exactly.
but yeah, but Michelle, we appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for
Uh,
having me.
And anytime it's fine with us. We're always looking for somebody to come on and talk uh, and share their thoughts and things like that. So we do appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you having
Um,
me.
but yeah, the political show will continue tomorrow night. John will be back at 7 o'clock Eastern time with Patriot Confederation. He'll be back Wednesday night with the Common Sense Conservative at 7. It's his only 2 hour show. Thursday, I guess now we have two shows on Thursday. One at 6 o'clock. The Brew will be on from 6 to 7, and then from 7 to 8, it will be the Independent Trucker Show. And we will be back next Monday at 7 o'clock, and we will don't know who we got to have, but it'll be another state out here, and we'll talk issues from that state. So we'll be glad to see you next Monday night at 7 o'clock. And John, it's all yours.
Awesome. I want to thank everybody for participating tonight. We had a nice list of commenters, and it was awesome to have your comments tonight. As always, I give you the truckers farewell because it's the only way I know how to close out these darn shows anymore. So keep the greasy side down, the shiny side up, and between the lines, safe travels wherever you may be going. Be good, and if you can't be good, well, be good at it. And we are gone.